I want to make this video. This is sort of a little response video, kind of a request video by Joe Morgan. You can check his channel out under the same name. Shout out to Joe Morgan. He had he brought up the idea about the story of our favorite firearm, I guess, that we own. And like, not necessarily the best firearm in the world or anything like that, but what our favorite firearm that we have is. And so I thought I would do the story of my favorite firearm in my collection. And it goes back pretty far to like my childhood, because first off, this is my favorite firearm exactly. Well, almost exactly. This is my favorite firearm. This is the 44 Magnum Research Desert Eagle. And this is the Mark 19 version. This was my favorite firearm always. And so it goes back to, like, because I grew up through the 80s, and in the 80s, the Desert Eagle, you would see it in all kinds of movies. Like, it was in RoboCop, like pretty predominantly in RoboCop. And Arnold would use it in all kinds of movies, and they were sort of just like movie guns at that time, because I was young and guns were cool, but I didn't really understand a whole lot about them. And then as I got a little bit older, it actually, I was sort of getting into fishing and outdoors, and I was interested in that. I was probably about 12 at the time, something like that. And so we checked out an outdoor show, which was local here, just to check it out and see what they had. More interested in fishing than anything. And one of the stores here, like it's a hunting and tackle store, all that, they had a display there, and in the display they had brought just a couple of firearms, and one of them was a Desert Eagle. It was the 50 caliber Desert Eagle. It was identical to this, except it was the 50 cal. And I looked at it, and there was a person there, and he actually took it out of the display and he let me see it. And kind of like when it was like, I don't know, it was one of those moments, and when I held that thing and I actually saw the real thing, and I knew there was a real thing, and it was like, at that point I had to have one. It was like my dream gun at that point. As far as handguns go, it was my dream gun. It was like the coolest thing I had ever seen. I think it was a while after that. I don't know if it was months after that, or because I knew the store and I wanted to see it again. I was interested in this thing. So when we went to the store, because salesmen were smart at the time, the person at the store, because I was talking to them about it, he had given me this brochure. This is the Magnum Research brochure that they had, and it has all the Desert Eagles and all the different conversions at that time. And this was amazing, like at the time, as a young kid, being given something like this, and it just fueled my passion for the Desert Eagle. And this here, this is my book here that this is 1997 dated, and I used to collect anytime I would see Desert Eagle in the like in any article, because I used to get gun magazines. After that, I was quite interested in firearms. I had a subscription to Guns and Ammo magazine. My mom would pick up sometimes when they go to like the grocery store. At that time, you would find magazines at the grocery store, and she'd pick up magazines for me, and I'd go through them. And whenever I found a Desert Eagle, any pictures, I would sort of collect them. This is my original book. I didn't put this together recently. This was from the 1990s. I put it together just like this, and I've kept it all these years. And collected pictures of them and put them in here, and it was always sort of a dream to get this gun. Actually, this gun here with the 10-inch barrel was my dream gun. That was the gun I was always going to own when I was dream about owning that one. And you could see that the book has been well used. It no longer has covers, or some of its pages are missing. And so I thought I would just bring that up. And what happened is fast forward a little bit, I was getting into firearms. I was actually a huge shotgunner. And when I took my firearms course, in Canada you need a license, like an approved license to own firearms. And it's kind of been, well, not own a firearms, but to acquire firearms. It's always been like that in Canada. And I actually took the original FAC course, which is the firearms acquisition course. And this was before the massive liberal purge and gun bans they did at the very end of the 90s. I took that course, and I was younger. I couldn't actually buy them because I was only 15 or something. You have to wait till you're proper age to buy anything. But I had taken that course, which included both. At that time, the course included both handguns and rifles. I'm not going to go over the whole thing about gun courses and laws in Canada. It's kind of irrelevant for this video. But anyways, I had taken the course at that time. And what happens is about a couple years before, maybe 1998 or 1999, they had come in with this sweeping gun reforms, and there was a gun registry in Canada, which everyone knows about. I'm sure people in the United States, and they know we had a gun registry for a while, so it was a huge thing. And this lasted for 7 years. But during that time, I had sort of got away from firearms in the teenage years. I kind of got away from them because it was very hard to constantly go through the process of owning a firearm. And handguns, I never even really thought about handguns. And then about 2005 or 6, I think it was, we had a change in government, and they completely scrapped the whole gun registry process. And at that time, they had switched to a new gun license. And this gun license it's basically like you had one for handguns and one for rifles. So I went for my handgun license at that time. And this is where the story of this exact firearm comes into play. I was actually interested in AR-15s. I wasn't really interested in handguns. And so I was taking that course, and I passed my course. I was looking for purchases. This was even before I had my license. I was looking to see what was out there for sale. And I come across a store, and it was in British Columbia, which where I am, it's clear across the country. And I found this firearm, this Desert Eagle here. And it was exactly how it was. It didn't have the manual, it didn't have the case, it didn't have anything. Just it was how it is. And you notice it has quite a bit of pitting and wear on it. But to me, I didn't care, because I wanted a 44 Magnum Desert Eagle. At that time, I would have taken any of the 50 cal 357, but it happened to be the 44 Mark 19 Desert Eagle. And I couldn't believe it. So I wrote the person. This was before I had passed the course, but I was waiting for my license in the mail, which took 5 months. So I wrote the person, and I asked him, I said, yeah, I was interested in this pistol, but my license hasn't come. And the guy was super amazing guy. And he said that was perfectly fine. He would hold the gun for me. And we ended up doing a deal, and I traded a CZ858, which is like the Czechoslovak AK thing. I had one of those, and I traded that, and I traded a Mosin Nagant M44, a Russian Mosin Nagant M44. I traded those two because I didn't have much money or anything. It's not like I could afford a Desert Eagle. And so I traded those two and got this. It took 5 months for the license to finally come, and I got it. And this is my pistol here. That's how I ended up with it. And it's one of the only firearms that I bought I bought it years ago and I've kept it all these years. There's nothing it's by far my favorite firearm. I would not get rid of it. And it's sort of, it's kind of starting to get quite a bit of wear to it. But that's the story of this gun. I got it years ago, and I have never even thought about getting rid of it. It's my favorite firearm of all time, ever since I was a kid. Always fascinated with the Desert Eagle. And like, I really don't care what people, a lot of people have this misconception about, oh yeah, you just want a Desert Eagle because it's the large caliber, you think it's cool because it's a big gun, things like that. No, it's not like that with me. It's like, I've always been fascinated by the Desert Eagle, always thought it was the coolest looking firearm. I don't care that there's little flaws in it, and I'm not going to say it's the perfect gun. It's always been my favorite, and so that's my thing behind it. And well, just a small little note, I don't want to make this video too long, but a small little note. I also noticed that when you go to gun shows and you see used Desert Eagles, they're almost, the ones I've come across anyways, are almost always 50 caliber Desert Eagles, and sometimes they're in brand new mint condition, because those are the people that go out and buy them because they think, oh hey, cool, it's a 50 caliber, and they either shoot it once or they don't even shoot it because of, like, it's kind of ridiculous, and they don't actually appreciate the gun for what it is. I shouldn't go on about, it's just kind of a like a pet peeve thing I have about Desert Eagles, because I guess I'm an actual OG gun owner when you think about it, because I actually appreciate the gun. Now I'll just talk about the Desert Eagle itself, the 44 Desert Eagle. This is it's got an 8-shot magazine, 44 magnum. So you've got 8, and you've got 1 extra in the chamber, and it uses the rotating bolt just like a Desert Eagle, or just like an AR-15. It looks exactly like an AR-15, the locking system in the bolt, and it's gas operated. And so that's the Desert Eagle itself. And I have enough experience with this gun. I've shot it over the years, and I enjoy it. I've had the 50 caliber conversion for this gun, and I've shot it in the 50 caliber, and it kind of didn't do anything for me for all sorts of reasons. But the 44 Magnum it's a really fun caliber. You could still find it. It's not incredibly cheap, but it is a lot cheaper and a heck of a lot more available than the 50 caliber. So anyhow, this is my favorite pistol here, and I don't have any intentions on ever getting rid of it. It's it was always my favorite gun, and it would probably be the last to go if I ever had to, for some reason, get rid of my collection or something. Like, it's the gun. I'll just say one note, because this just an add-on. My favorite long gun, I'll say, of all time is the Street Sweeper, or the Striker 12 shotgun, which is like that little 12-shot drum magazine with the twin pistol grip and the folding stock on the top. That's my favorite long gun of all time. And of course, in Canada, I actually contacted a guy about getting one, even if he could find a deactivated one, and according to him, he told me there's not even one actually in the country. One never even made it here, even before all the restrictions and everything like that, and so they don't exist in Canada. But so if there was ever a video about our favorite long guns, I can do it, because I don't have that particular firearm. But the Desert Eagle, it doesn't matter to me. You can have your opinions about it, but this is my favorite firearm from my collection. It's my favorite handgun of all time, and so thank you for watching.